One of the interesting things we've seen is the shift from like single acts, like this band is going on the road, to just tons of multi-band bills, a lot of festivals.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I like festivals.
Yeah, festivals are fun as long as it's not Warped Tour.
Well, you know,
or Juggalos.
Gathering. Well, but you know what? The Gathering of the Juggalos, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you go to the Gathering of the Juggalos and you have a bad time, where did you go wrong with this?
You can't be mad that you're gonna be sticky with Fago.
Right.
And you might come out of it.
Right.
If you bought a ticket voluntarily to Weekend of the Juggalos, you're gonna have a great time.
Right.
And if you were given a ticket, and I actually don't go to enough festivals because it's such a commitment.
Yeah.
And I think that it's great when you do it.
But you went to Austin Psych Fest.
Yeah, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was really well put together. Black Angels put it together. There were probably, I would say there were at least 10 a day.
Oh, nice.
Maybe 15. So they had a big stage at Emo's East. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Bigger kind
Has
of
nothing to do with
warehousey
emo.
place.
No, I know. Emo's in Texas. Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
And then there was another one that was just like, and it was weird. It was like at this strip mall place, you know.
Yeah. It sounds like everybody was supportive of each other's band. Like there's a community feel.
Yeah, definitely.
And whenever there's like support within the bands and like, oh yeah, come and watch so and so next. They're up next. It's like it just feels like it all flows together well.
Yeah,
and that's what I think it is. You know, where you have bands kind of taking charge again.
And you can see so many things. Like somebody, you might have just been a little bit interested. Like, well, I wouldn't pay to go see them at their, just a single show.
Right, but I'll go watch 5 minutes and see if I dig it.
Right,
because I'm here.
Then you find something that you're like, oh, I need to see them again.
Yeah, we went and we saw Wilco there the other night.
Yeah, how was that? How was that show?
Honestly, okay, here's the Wilco thing. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
That's the one.
Everybody says it's the greatest album of the 90s. I've listened to it probably 20 or 30 times. I don't get it.
Like I think being there in Summerteeth are even better.
Here was my view on Wilco. They played really well, and they write beautiful songs. Like you can't deny that. I just don't like it. It was a fun show. It was a nice night out.
I think more people just have to accept that and it'd be okay. Like,
right, you don't have to love
I'm
a band.
supposed to get there.
Right.
I must keep listening. No,
it's
just let it go.
It's okay to not.
Maybe you'll like it in 10 years.
Right, it's like people are like, well, I listened to A Love Supreme when I was 19, and I was really into jazz, and I didn't like it, so I haven't listened to Coltrane since. It's like, what? You're 37.
Right. It's a different listen.
Why don't you go listen to A Love Supreme again? Because it's what is it? The 500,000 Elvis fans can't be wrong.
Your perspective on music is completely different as you get older. And
or stuff that you loved young.
Yeah, you're like
love for different reasons now. Or you sour on.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't listen to nearly as much Roxette as I used to.
When I listened to Bob Dylan for the first time when I was maybe 13, I was like, "This is the worst music I've ever heard in my life."
Because you're just hearing the singing.
Oh my god, it was so painful. And and then as time, it's like a fine wine, and you eventually come to appreciate it. I mean, it was like, when you're 13, the Beatles is where it's at. It's like, oh, this is a pop song. This is where it's a thing.
Yeah.
Really, you never liked the Beatles when you were a kid?
I remember I always say this, and it's
so
actually
accessible.
You're anti-Beatles guy, aren't you?
I'm not anti-Beatles. I
don't understand
I think music would have been just fine without them.
Oh, come on, dude. You're being. I hate when people hate on the Beatles because it's such an easy target.
I love George Harrison. I love George Harrison. All Things Must Pass is one of the greatest albums ever released. I think the Beatles get more credit than they deserve. I think that there were other bands doing exactly what they were doing at the time.
No, not with the songwriting. Different songwriting. Totally.
I own the entire Beatles catalog in 2 or 3 different formats.
My bigger issue is when people are like, dude, Stones. It's like they're not even.
They're different. The Beatles were playing pop rock. The Stones were playing more heavy rock and roll.
Blues influence. More like they both came from the same place.
You cannot compare.
But they went into different directions.
Right. You can maybe compare the Who and the Stones.
Maybe.
I'll take that, or the Animals and the Stones.
I was true about when people are like, Beatles or Stones.
Right. It's like
I'm like,
no.
I can like them both.
It's like Elvis or Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Right, well, you can't make the comparison.
I can afford both of their albums,
right?
So I'll go ahead.
Thankfully, I'm not going to a desert island, so I can have them all. I do think it's funny when people say, like, well, I listened to Johnny Cash when I was 10 years old, so fuck country music.
Right.
You know, it's just how I can't get in the headspace of people who can write off musicians and genres that easily. Like,
because they've already been there.
Yeah.
Right. Or people,
it's one notch below. People are like, I listen to everything.
right, like, right.
Yeah. Except
Country,
I like
metal, and
classical,
gangster rap. I don't do much
everything.
opera, but
everything. I'm open to whatever.
Yeah, and no, I don't listen to much Taylor Swift. What's krautrock?
But that's why those festivals are good. Coming back to the festival,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that. That's like a place where you can actually a good festival hear a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and it's funny to me sometimes because I'll see people who get turned off because they're like, oh, I don't like the 2 headliners. It's like, what about the 29 other bands that are playing? Like, so leave at 10 o'clock. That's the big thing that I think is going on with the rise in digital music and stuff like that, because I think the community of music is getting lost even more now because you're not going to record stores to buy your music.
I gotta disagree though that it's all a negative thing. I think it's a positive. I don't think we should resist the change.
No, people have more access. It's easier to access music now.
Yeah, exactly, and it's easier to share it. It's easier to communicate.
As much as I love records, I also want to have 160 gig iPod with just
everything.
Tons of.
And it's cool, like if you're really into that, like, you know, Vietnamese avant blues band, you can just go over their website and you can listen to the song and it's right there. You don't have to go through mail order and a million things. You can actually get turned on to music so much easier. So where do you guys see kind of the because all of this is talking about kind of the shifts in mainstream music is what we've been generally talking about. Where do you see things moving?
I think our perspectives are probably going to be a little bit different because I think we're on different. I'm more of the consumer and I think you're more of the producer right now, and I feel like things are going. Since everything is digital, I think everything is going to be free. The medium itself is going to be free. The actual art is going to be free and sort of in space. And I think money is going to be made through like all these ways that like Fish do, you know, like with the live shows, with the bootlegs, or with the streaming, you know, with merchandise sales. In terms of the music itself, for the most part, I think people have to stop thinking about it as a commodity that you can, you know, get money for directly. Like, let's make this album, it's going to be a hit single and we'll make $4 million selling it in Sam Goody. You know, like, it's not going to happen.
Well, I would say that some of them, if we're talking mainstream music or like regular pop music, I don't know, and I don't really care what direction that's going in.
Sure. But the pop always takes from the underground. That's always how it is.
Right.
You know, Lady Gaga gets her shit from the underground.
Does that mean that if more underground stuff, like my small label would be releasing primarily vinyl, does that mean that pop artists are going to start being like, Justin Bieber's like, yo, get vinyl, you know, like, look at this gatefold, I got Roger Dean to do the art.
Well, it only happens if, because the underground comes up with like 30 different things that are you know, progressive, and whatever is the most successful will eventually rise to the mainstream top. So yes, it's possible that.
But there can be many things too.
Right,
like
Kraftwerk and Devo became 80s synth pop.
It's about different ways of consumption.
Yeah,
and I think it is like we said earlier about creating products that people do want to purchase. You know, instead, like, a CD is not sexy. You know, you go into a shop that has used stuff or whatever. It just doesn't feel good looking through clunk with the CDs. But the records, you're like, I still want to look through these things. You know?
Right, you pull it out because it looks cool.
A skip on a record is so much nicer than a skip on a CD.
Well, wait, we were talking about, you know, the nice crackles on the copy of Carino by Bob Dylan. When those are your crackles. That you know your version, because you know where that pops.
Well, the skips could be the same way, but skips on CDs are unbearable. Whereas skips are, I mean, like I know certain songs by their CD skips, and when I see the band live, I'm like, like, do my skip. That song sounded so weird.
That would be pretty amazing if bands could do that live. They would like take fans like
1, 2, 4.
There's an Elvis Costello song on what's the album? Shit, with the elephant.
I don't have the shit album.
Armed Forces.
Okay.
There's a song where there was a part where there was a piece of tape.
That cut in the tape. Yeah.
And he goes like, he like repeats it.
Yeah.
And they were gonna learn it live, and then they were like, fuck this. Let's just play it the regular way.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys dug it. Make sure to check out Ethan Fixell right here, and you can check out Mike Newman on his various sites right here, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.